The Way I See It podcast with tag team partners Wildfire Josh and the Ayatollah of Footballa Jake Kemp.
All right, guys, The Way I See It podcast. Last week we were kind of having a playoff breakdown show where we were looking at the individual teams that would be part of the 14 playoff. And the first team we looked at last week was Oklahoma, and the second team was Georgia because we were getting ready for the Rose Bowl. Well, the Rose Bowl happened last night.
That was a great one.
You know, one of the most epic games of my lifetime.
Yeah, it was a classic.
It completely lived up to the hype.
Yeah. And we pretty much everything we called happened.
Yeah, I feel like
I
feel like the things that a lot of the stuff we said kind of came to pass, you know.
We expected Georgia to move the ball on the ground. We didn't think Oklahoma would stop them, and they didn't. We thought Baker Mayfield would get his, and he got his for sure.
Right.
Georgia, so we thought Oklahoma would have a hard time with the third shorts, and they did.
And kind of in the end, that was the difference in the game. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get started breaking the game down, and you know, it's gonna take us a few videos to get through it, and we may not show every single play, but you know, I think we can do it justice. So let's go ahead and get started.
So this is the first offensive snap for Georgia?
Yeah, this is it. First play of the game. And you can see up top, there's a big cushion. So it's not like that play was determined to be a hitch. But the receiver's got about 8 or 9 yard cushion out there. So it's just going to be, that's a pre-snap read. Let's pick them yarders up. Maybe somebody miss a tackle. And, you know, 9 yard play turns into 20 yards just like that.
With Fromm's arm, you can't give him that kind of cushion on the short side of the field.
No, he has tremendous arm strength.
Yes, he does.
You know, he's not a really big quarterback. So a lot of times you associate a really strong arm with somebody that's 6'5" or something like that. But, man, he's got a cannon.
He does. He's got a cannon.
All right. That's a similar type thing, except that play was going to be a run. That was I don't even want to call it a run-pass option. That was a run play that had a pre-snap read for a pass. So, and I'll show it to you. So they come out, they're going to run zone left. And there's that same cushion is up top. So From automatically goes up top, and it should have been caught.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 2nd and 10. Georgia got the ball.
And I think they're trying to start running the ball a little bit right here. Oklahoma's first drive played solid defense.
Oh yeah, they come out being physical, and you know, so right, you know, Georgia's playing with one back set, which I mean, look, they're multiple now. They 2 back set, 1 back set, trying to kind of get a side overloaded right there. And you can see Oklahoma's only playing with 1 safety. They got the other safety rolled down into the box. And that's something we talked about, that would definitely be a way they would want to defend Georgia. All right, now, see, Fromm's bringing them guys in right there off that. He started out empty, then brings 2, and they're just in for the to block. So what happens is, the tight end that he brings to the wing right there, his first responsibility is block. So this is max protect. But if he doesn't have anybody to block, he releases, which is exactly what happened. Just, you know, Fromm overthrew him a little bit right there. So, you know, first series for Georgia's not that bad. You know, in these type of games, you normally don't start out so fast.
And most of the time, your adrenaline seems to be pumping, and you don't really come out playing your best to start off with until you calm down. But Oklahoma didn't have a problem.
Right.
They came out ready to roll.
All right, let's have a look at Oklahoma's offense, see how they get it going. You know, we really bragged on Mayfield after watching him, which I said, you know, in our game that we broke down, that's really the first time I watched him play. All right, that right there is a bust. I didn't realize that when I watched it live. What Oklahoma's doing right here is they're going to run that receiver that's coming on they're running jet left with him. They're going to fake. So they're faking jet left, and they're going to run zone right. And so what they're trying to do is just take this defensive end at the bottom of the screen and freeze him with the jet motion. So, you know, because they're not going to block him. But what happens, I think, either the right tackle or possibly the right guard, if they're running zone left instead of zone right, because the play is zone right. And so that guy comes through untouched. I think it was 72 that just went the wrong direction. And sometimes that happens. It always blows your mind as a coach how the first play of the game, you can just leave a guy unblocked like that, but that's what happened. So it wasn't that Georgia's player just beat the play. So nobody touched him. But that happens, you know, that's part of football. But it's 2nd and 10, you know, and Georgia's coming out. They're fired up. They're coming out, and here, this is that base, in their base 3-4 right there.
What kind of coverage Georgia in?
Well, what they're doing is they were rolling to one high safety.
They're trying to disguise their coverage and.
Yeah. See, they're trying to. Yeah. You see how they're doing that?
Yeah.
So they start out with a cover 2 look, and then they go to a cover 3, and it's a strange time to do that on second and 10. And they got burnt because of it. Because once you get behind the linebackers, there's so much more room with one high safety. You know, the play that Oklahoma just run right there is so tough. It's not easy to do what you're asking. They're faking stretch to the right, and they're having their tight end on the left block right and then get down the seam, and he's just dropping it over him. I mean, you draw it up on paper, you say, yeah, this will work, but that kind of, you got to just, it's like shooting a basketball almost.
Yeah.
You just got to get it right where it's supposed to be.
Right. It's a great pass.
It was a great pass, and I mean, it's amazing. It almost looked like it was ad-libbed to me. Like they just kind of saw it and threw the ball in there. It's not a play that I really recognize.
If you give Mayfield that kind of time, he's hard to stop.
No, you can't give that man any time. You just can't do it. And he's as good as we thought he was.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
He hits. Plays are normally determined to go to one or two people, but he will, you know, you better be paying attention when you're running a route with him, because he'll throw it to anybody. That's something that I noticed, you know, when we were breaking them down.
Even in this game, I was impressed with Oklahoma's offensive line. I thought they did a great job with Georgia's defense.
I mean, God, they both scored. I mean, both teams scored at will. All right, so we got trips right. All right, that's just a swing screen. Georgia does a good job with it.
Georgia's fast. Georgia has a playmaker at every position on defense.
Right, and for Oklahoma, you know, this the whole identity we talked about with them. They just want to get first downs, move the chains, and then something big will happen.
We talked about if you miss tackles, that Oklahoma will kill you. Georgia didn't miss many tackles.
They didn't miss many tackles. I mean, you know, but like I said, both offenses kind of had their way with the other team.
That was pretty.
Yeah, that was an amazing play. I couldn't tell last night watching that if it was a run pass option or it was play action. The run is the blocking is definitely like for a run play. And the corner up at the top of the screen, he definitely gets frozen. So I don't think it can be necessarily a run pass option because, I mean, Baker Mayfield's looking the opposite direction. But it's like he pulls the ball and sees that guy's open and throws it to him. I don't know. Like, I recognize most everything that Oklahoma does. But sometimes it feels like Mayfield is just kind of making it up as he goes. Like it's not it just near about can't be drawn up the way he plays it. Because what if, I mean, there's just so many things that could have blew that play up if they'd been blitzing off the edge. You know what I mean? And he's not looking at the edge, so there's no way he can know.
Yeah, he was looking the opposite direction.
Yeah. But see, the corner, that's the corner that came up. See, 18, he's thinking it's a run. Oh, crap, it's not a run, you know, and that. Yeah, that's why Oklahoma's so doggone hard to stop.
Yeah. They're not going to take chances to move the ball either. They take a lot of chances.
They do. You know, that's one thing we discussed is kind of knowing when to take the chance and when not to. That's something that they were really good at.
And you pointed out that's one thing about the way Georgia can run the ball. You don't have to take those types of chances if you can establish a run game like they have.
No, and I noticed, one thing that I really noticed watching the game was you could tell that it was just hard for Oklahoma defensively to understand that second and long, Georgia can still run it. Mm-hmm. So they're so used to getting, all right, we got that defense, we got that offense in a second and long situation. Let's come out with some type of exotic coverage. Well, no, Georgia's just going to run it right down your throat.
Absolutely.
And pick up 30.
Yeah.
All right, so now this is more kind of what you think about with Georgia.
That's the crackback. That's a crackback block right there.
Yes, sir. So let's take a look at that.
Oklahoma probably hasn't seen that this year.
No, and you know, a lot of teams hadn't. Okay, so there's several things that should kind of tell you to be alert for something. Number one, if you look at the receiver at the top of the screen, he's in tight. Okay, I believe we talked about it in the Georgia breakdown that when their formation is that tight, there's a good chance it's because they want to run outside.
Right.
Okay? If you look at the receiver, he's looking at the outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Okay? He's not looking at the corner. Now, in South Georgia, your corners are taught, if you see that receiver looking in like that, what do you start screaming?
Crack.
Crack, crack, crack. Because somebody's about to get hit. I don't see Oklahoma's guys saying anything. Okay? Now, I believe a safety rolls down, and see, there he comes. Bam! And he gets cleaned up. A big left tackle on the corner, you know, and Chubb picks up 25, 30 yards.
That's right.
That's old school football.
That's old school football.
That is old school football, you know, and it's worked forever, and it will work forever.
It will work.
Good footballer, just sealing the edge.
Shows such a patient runner too.
He's
great
exceptional.
Vision. Man, great vision.
No, he's exceptional.
So many times last night it was I don't know. Chubb is just an exceptional runner.
You know,
watching you, just really impressed with.
I thought that before Chubb hurt his knee, I actually thought he was better than Fournette.
I was right there with you.
I thought that Fournette was more athletic, which is, I mean,